What truly makes a sword powerful? Is it the strength of its blade, the warrior who wields it, or perhaps the supernatural power it carries? The Totsuka Blade, one of the most enigmatic and legendary weapons in the Naruto universe, is not an ordinary sword. Its appearance may not impress at first glance, but the hidden power within it can seal souls forever. How can a sword that doesn't even have a solid form become one of the most feared weapons in the entire ninja world? The Totsuka Blade is not made of steel, nor does it have a sharp edge like most swords. It is, in fact, a spiritual liquid sealed within a sake gourd. When released, this substance forms into a blade capable of cutting through anything, and more importantly, sealing anyone struck by it into an eternal world of dreams. This ability makes it one of the most dangerous artifacts, used by few but desired by many. Even Orochimaru, one of the most cunning and power-obsessed ninjas, spent his entire life searching for this sword, but never managed to find it. Itachi Uchiha, one of the series' most iconic and tragic characters, was the only one to wield the Totsuka Blade. With his susanoo, Itachi combined the sword with another legendary weapon, the yata mirror, forming a combination that made him virtually invincible. Black Zetsu, one of the most astute observers in the ninja world, declared that with these two weapons, Itachi was untouchable. But what makes this sword so lethal is not just its ability to cut through matter, but its sealing power. When Orochimaru tried to escape Sasuke's body in his giant snake form, Itachi defeated him and sealed his soul in the sword, trapping him in a state of illusion for all eternity. But where does this power come from? The origin of the Totsuka Blade is deeply rooted in Japanese folklore, specifically in the myth of Totsuka no Tsurugi, a weapon mentioned in various legends. It is said that Totsuka no Tsurugi was used by the god Izanagi to kill his own son, Kagetsuchi, the god of fire, who had killed Izanagi's wife during childbirth. The sword also appears in the legend of Susanoo, the god of storms, who used a version of Totsuka no Tsurugi to kill the fearsome Yamato Orochi, a serpent with 8 heads and tails. These myths are mirrored in the sword's use in the Naruto universe. Just as the gods who wielded Totsuka no Tsurugi, Itachi used his version of the sword to defeat seemingly invincible enemies, sealing them forever. But while in the myth the sword was used for destruction and death, in Naruto, it becomes a tool for purification. When Itachi sealed Orochimaru, he not only defeated one of the series' most feared villains, but also freed Sasuke from the cursed seal that had haunted his life. There is, however, an aura of mystery surrounding the Totsuka Blade. Despite all its power, it is an ethereal, intangible sword. How can something that lacks a solid form cut and seal souls? This leads us to reflect on the nature of strength in the Naruto universe. Many of the series' most powerful abilities do not come from physical strength, but rather from mastery over spiritual and mental techniques. The Totsuka Blade personifies this concept, a weapon whose true strength lies in its ability to manipulate the spiritual realm. Another fascinating curiosity is the similarity between the gourd that holds the Totsuka Blade and the Japanese folkloric spirits known as Hayaten Kozo, which are associated with enchanted gourds. This connection can be seen as a tribute to the rich tapestry of Japanese myths and legends that heavily influence the Naruto universe. Additionally, the way the sword functions is reminiscent of how Susanoo himself used Totsuka no Tsurugi to intoxicate Yamato Orochi with sake before killing him. The gourd, in this case, can be seen as a symbol of hidden power, kept and released only when necessary. But perhaps the most intriguing question about the Totsuka Blade is, why did Orochimaru, one of the smartest and most ambitious ninjas, never manage to find it? If the sword was so powerful, why did it remain hidden from someone who dedicated his entire life to the pursuit of absolute power? The answer may lie in the fact that the Totsuka Blade, like many of the most powerful artifacts in the Naruto universe, is not something that can simply be found. It seems to choose its wielder, or perhaps it can only be used by those who already possess a deep spiritual mastery. In the end, the Totsuka Blade represents more than just a legendary weapon. It is a symbol of the duality between strength and spirituality, between brute power and control over the immaterial. By sealing Orochimaru, Itachi not only defeated one of the series' most formidable enemies, but also showed that true power lies not in destruction, but in the ability to control and, ultimately, purify. The Totsuka Blade is a reminder that, in the ninja world, spiritual strength is just as important as physical power. And this leads us to one final reflection. Could any other ninja be worthy of wielding this sword? Or will it remain forever an ethereal mystery, locked within the gourd, waiting for someone with the spiritual mastery necessary to unleash its power?